Hello! Konnichiwa, minasan! Shokokuni. Prime 4 is out today, and I can't play it for like a whole month. or something like that. No, I was just not picking up my microphone and I had to reset the settings on it. If the game is too loud and my voice isn't loud enough, let me know. But yeah, so because I'm impatient and I want to play Metroid, I'm gonna start off with Prime 1. I might burn through this really quickly. This is like my 14th or 15th time playing the game. So you already know that I'm super cooked. See, last time it only took me 10 hours. Let's see how long this time it takes me. Wait, no, I fucked up. I should put on hard. No! Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just really looking forward. Why is it updating shit? Why is it still updating? Well, you're going to, experience this for the first time. Depending on how things go, I could try to do, actually, you know what? I'm an idiot. I could just do this. Restart it and put it on hard. It's very fun. The Metroid games in general tend to be, like, short-ish once you're, like, used to Metroidvanias. But they're phenomenal. They're, like, my absolute favorite. Like, I just... There's very few Metroid games that I don't like. The only ones I would say are just, like, straight dog shit as a Metroid game, but not necessarily as a game as a whole, is, like, Other M and Federation Force. Now, Federation Force actually had promise. I thought it could have been a really cool concept, but what makes Federation Force really, really bad is just kind of like the story and the, like, super chibi art style, which, you know, could be excusable if they didn't make Samus a fucking gimmick boss, because you don't play as Samus in Federation Force. And this is gonna be a weird opinion. This is gonna be like a hot take opinion, maybe. I don't think every Metroid game needs to have Samus as the protagonist. I think they could do spin-offs the same way that, like, Halo had Halo Wars. I think, like, an RTS, XCOM style Metroid game could work really well. Especially as, with not Samus as the protagonist. Samus 117. Shut up. Shut up, yo! At least I don't make weird thumbnails like you that are suggestive. The gym signal sucks, I'm buffering hard. Nah, you're good, don't worry about it. I need to lower the brightness on my main monitor. Like, the actual brightness of this game is much darker. Let me see if I can adjust it real quick. And the music is so good. Like, just so good. There we go. The colors look a little washed out. It's so weird. Maybe it's like the black levels. God, I love this game. I love the music. Hold on a second. I think the colors on my screen look a little washed out, so I'm going to work on fixing that real quick. But it's like, it's only when it's on the Switch, which is weird. Where's the... I think it might be the black levels, actually. But I don't know how to change it on this monitor. Night vision, response time. Sendai aluminum can moment. Oh, brother. I blame you guys for that. That was... I'm gonna tell you guys a story while I'm fixing my monitor's colors. Maybe you can change the in-game bright. It's not... The thing is, it's not the in-game. For you guys, it looks fine. When I look at it on my other monitor, the colors are perfectly fine. It's just my main monitor, for some reason... Because, like, I can adjust the image on my PC... But because this isn't the PC anymore, the adjustments that I did aren't there anymore. Nah, the monitor is good. It's literally just for whatever reason, like I can't... I guess the settings here are a little different. There should be a... Or maybe it's the input. Maybe it's like the HDMI on the Switch that's weird. Professional Pro Mode. Was it because of this? Ooh! Okay. Is it this? Can I? Oh. Oh, this monitor has HDR. That's interesting. I didn't know that. I'm keeping that off. That burns my fucking eyes. But, yeah, so the story that I was going to tell you, that since he mentioned Sendai aluminum can moment with, like, the whole flashbang moment, we were traveling in Japan, and we were in Sendai, and it was, like, nighttime or whatever, and we were trying, we got a can out of a vending machine, and for whatever reason, we had the bright idea to, like... look into the can. We wanted to see the color of the liquid or whatever. And our dumbasses decided to shine a really bright flashlight into the can. Now, if you don't know this, and you should, aluminum is kind of reflective. Like, really reflective. So, with a bright-ass light, followed up by an aluminum can's top, trying to flash it into the one hole, we just kinda, you know, destroyed our fucking eyes, I guess? Or rather, mine? This... I lower all of them. I now have a piss filter on my screen, baby! Interestingly enough, that's not good. Maybe... You know what? It doesn't look too bad. It's just a little bit washed out, because I don't have my PC settings. But it's not terrible. Like, I can always just look at the other screen, too. Oh yeah, Japan's Mountain Dew color. My flashlight was set on the high brightness, and it was like the focused brightness too. Alright. I should be good here. So originally, as he mentions the flashlight brightness and stuff like that, so Prime 1 originally wasn't a twin stick shooter. The GameCube only had a single stick, so you couldn't move freely here. Whenever you moved the, in order to move the camera, you had to, like, there was a button that you would use to, like, your movement and your rotation was tied to the same button. So, like, if you wanted to strafe, you had to lock on. And turning was literally just doing it with the one stick. I can't remember exactly how it works anymore, purely because I haven't played the originals in that long. And then... Didn't tell me how. Okay, missiles is R1. Wow, there would be a second. Okay. So hold that. Noted, okay. Scan visor is our lore visor. This is the shit we're gonna use to, basically understand and read everything. Now, I could skip scanning stuff that's not necessary, purely because of the fact that I've 100% of this game several times. But considering the fact that you mentioned you haven't played it, I'll try to like scan things as I go along, just to kind of, you know, just to kind of help a little bit. Entrance to the main docking bay. So in this first area, like a lot of the scans don't really matter. They're not gonna be like full triggers or stuff like that. But yeah, so what you're seeing here is more or less what you're gonna be able to expect from Prime 4 as well. God, I've forgotten how good this game feels on Twin Stick. I haven't played it in a hot minute. Yeah, I think it's just the black levels on this screen, which is really weird. So all of this is new. Old game straight up throwing you without a tutorial. Yeah. None of this is technically new. Like the original Metroid Prime 1 came out in 2001, 2002. Like to me, this is I've seen everything well, maybe not hundreds of times, but so many times that I can literally name you like areas of the game as I go along, and I'm just like, yeah, I remember this. I'll have to figure out this monitor at some other point, or maybe I buy a second one and use this one as my second monitor once I upgrade to a proper computer. But it's not too bad. I screw up. Oh, there we go. Oh, game straight up throwing you with it. It's like a half tutorial. They kind of just they tell you a few things, but not everything. What monitor is this? Hold on, I might be able to like peep it real quick. One sec. This is MSI. Actually, it should be in my Amazon order history. I might be able to check how to adjust the black levels on it. Because it's definitely just the black levels. And I think it might be because of the HDR. Go to my orders real quick. You hold the map! Which looks... The one in Prime 4 also looks very similar to this, which is really fucking sick. See, where are my orders? Orders. I ordered this a couple months back. So it should show up. Oh. Oh, it might have actually been older than that. 2025. Was Samus's armor shoulder that huge before? It's always like in Prime. Yes, Samus's shoulder armor has always been this large in Prime, in the Prime games. When did I order the monitor? May, July. Nope, wasn't that one. Nope, nope, nope. I could have sworn. Huh. Maybe I didn't order it through Amazon. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm just tripping the fuck out. Yeah, I'll just look it up later. You didn't miss much. I was just kind of like going through and seeing if I could adjust my monitor stuff. Wait, maybe it is the HDR actually. Should be image. Not color temperature, screen size, and it's not the sharpness, that's for damn sure. me see how this looks. Nope, that's definitely not it. Alright, so this monitor's HDR is not great. Noted. What is MPRT? It should literally just be a black level setting. I don't understand why it doesn't have one. Yeah, this time it's actually my bad. It's so weird. Like, it looks perfectly fine when it's on my actual monitor, but I suppose I can't edit. Or can I? 1 second. 1 second. We're gonna go through the settings here. Exit. Screen brightness. Yeah, thanks. That's not what I'm trying to do. Themes. TV settings. Fuck. That's not what I meant to do. When your text out, it's not even text sabotages. I just haven't used the switch on this screen yet, so it does look different, which is just weird. I lost the hardcore gym mindset while in Japan. I guess free time and gym buds are gone. Yeah, that's true. Unfortunately, but you should be working out more, bro. Like, you should definitely try to work out as much as you can. Whatever. We carry on. We carry on. Oh yeah, another thing about the scan visor is that, especially in Primes 1 and 2 and 3, it'll likely be the same in Prime 4, but a huge thing with Prime is using the scan visor to puzzle solve and learn things. Hello! And welcome to the Metroid Prime stream. Anyways, I was wasting time with the... I was absolutely wasting time on the screen. Now I've lost my speed run, which was never gonna be a speed run anyways, just to see how quickly I could finish it, you know. Not really the same. Not quite the same. There's an interesting tech that I think is like a scan visor jump, where you can literally skip a whole section of one thing by using the... While you're scanning, you strafe jump, and it just gives you so much momentum sideways. But it's like you gotta get out of range of the scan. Hey, the fact that you recognize the Destiny symbol tells me all I need to know about you. All I'm saying is, in regards to Destiny, if there's a third, I will relapse hard as fuck. There is no saving me. Stop shooting me, I'm trying to scan stuff. Actually, I really just shouldn't be scanning stuff in here. I don't know why I am. Keep shooting. Keep shooting, you're not gonna kill me. Maximum copium, but I agree. There's a leak. There is a leak. I've been seeing the most recent expansion, and it's actually pretty good. It's not gonna bring people back in, like, mass quantities, but it is pretty good. At the very least, like, storytelling-wise, it does bring a lot of the good things back. That's not me trying to convince you to get it either, by the way. I just... I would say, if you haven't touched Destiny since Witch Queen... Actually, if you haven't touched Destiny and you quit, just don't come back. Just don't. Until you see Destiny 3. If you don't see the 3, just... Listen. There's just way too much shit. A fresh restart is what we need. Witness expansion is final shape. That's the end of the Light and Dark saga, the end of the first story, basically. Oopsies. I am telling you, Just do not come back. Unless you have a group of friends that really wants to try out the Star Wars expansion, just don't come back. Or if you see, or like I said, if you see the words Destiny 3. Because as much as I would like to recommend Renegades, because I actually, like, I have been enjoying the story, yeah, Final Shape is a good conclusion to the story. The expansions afterwards, not the episodes, the actual expansions, have actually had really good things about them that are addressing old questions that we've had since D1. But I cannot stress this enough. Just wait for D3. I love this shit so much. The music is so good. This is peak. I will say one thing about the remake in general. Some fights feel a little bit easier. But that is exactly why I put it on hard. Oh shit, I forgot to scan her. Hee, that would have been bad. Parasite Feeble, genetically enhanced by unknown means. We will find out what those unknown means are as the game progresses. Give me that mouth of yours. This is true. Let's focus down on Metroid lore. I'm gonna be depressed about Destiny. Hey! Like I said, it is getting better, and I do have faith that they will fix it eventually, as long as they don't die before then. But, Metroid-wise, what's interesting is the original director of Metroid sees Metroid Prime as an offshoot of the story, rather than, like, canon with the 2D games. Which is okay. However way you want to see it, I think is fine. The big slug. This thing gave my friend nightmares growing up, so he wasn't able to, actually play the game.
Evacuate immediately.
And now we dip. Soon, we will see the classic Metroid strategy of you lose all your power-ups at the start of the game. I'm a gamer! I'm a gamer! They made... To be fair, once you know the strategy to killing it, which is just spam shots, it's really not as bad. I do think they made the Parasite Queen a little bit easier as well, so... look, another one. Please die. Thank you. Containment seal breach, larvas, da-da-da-da-da-da. So throughout the game, we're gonna see like a bunch of research and shit that all of the lore in Prime 1 is given to you through these lore entries that you scan. There are no NPCs in Prime 1 for you to talk to, so everything you're just kind of learning on your own off of like tablets, off of like alien lore writings, so on and so forth. As the series progressed, so like in Prime 2 and Prime 3, they started adding NPCs that do actually talk to you whenever like you're next to them. And Prime 3 had a little bit more cinematic as there were other bounty hunters that actually fought shit with you. Oh, I should scan these actually. Oh, I can't. Damn it. They're not an actual entry. And in order to 100% the game, you have to scan all of the important bits of research and all of the creatures. So like in Hollow Knight, I'm assuming, yeah, you guys played it. So in Hollow Knight, where you would get entries for enemies by killing them, and then it would show up in your Hunter's Journal. In here, you don't get it by killing. You actually just straight up have to, you have to scan things. So the same as in Prime 2, same as in Prime 3, and most likely gonna be exactly the same in Prime 4. Give me your take on Metroid Other M so I can judge you. Bad Metroid game, decent game if you take off the Metroid title off of it. The issue with Other M is that it's too linear, and it removes a lot of the backtracking. And so it feels like a Team Ninja game. It 100% feels like a Team Ninja game. It has decent combat. It's just not a good Metroid game. Especially because it's... And what I'm gonna say is going to apply as a preliminary criticism to Prime 4 and not a criticism to Prime 3. But, again, Metroid is about isolation and being alone. As a whole, that's the atmosphere that Metroid has always had. That being said, that doesn't mean you can't have NPCs, or you can't have characters that talk to you, or, like, occasionally help you or show up on the planet. The issue is, Other M is literally just Adam telling Samus what to do, Samus crying like a little bitch and being traumatized by a fake Ridley, or like a teenage Ridley. There's not gonna be an open world Metroid game. They're never going to do that. It's literally not gonna happen. That game sucked balls and I will die on this hill. It was a bad Metroid game, it's not a bad game. It's a mediocre game that has fun moments. What ruins it a lot is how much of a bitch they made Samus. But the game itself is actually pretty decent. It's just... I don't think it's a terrible game. I'd give it like a 5 or a 6 out of 10. Like, on its own. But with the Metroid slapped onto it, it's like a 3 or a 4. It's a... Like, I think if you like the gameplay of it, sure, it's fine. The boss fights aren't terrible. Also, we just lost all our power-ups. Yay! The Metroid special. You don't get shit. It's just, as a Metroid game, it's way too linear. The story completely ruined. It's character assassination. And the NPCs kind of suck. The NPCs actually just straight up really suck. Prime 3 actually has NPCs that make sense in the setting. Am I dumb? Are you gonna open? There we go. Like, there is a good way to make NPCs in Metroid. Other M is not it. Other M is absolutely not it. But as far as Metroid open world Souls-like, yeah, it's just not gonna happen. It just doesn't fit, it doesn't make sense with the gameplay style of either the 2D or the 3D Metroid games, and if they ever make some sort of open world Metroid, as long as it's like a spin-off and not a mainline title, I wouldn't be personally upset. I think Metroid needs more spin-offs that have different gameplay loops. I just don't think an open world game is the way to go. I would rather have Metroid spin-off titles that play like XCOM or Halo Wars or shit like that. I think that would be much more fitting for the setting and would allow you to explore things outside of Samus's perspective and other parts of like the galaxy and just kind of like factions and alien races and shit like that. And I think it's very doable. It just can't be a mainline title, and Nintendo's never going to allow Retro Studios to do that, even though they pitched the idea like 20 years ago. God, this game is so pretty. I fucking adore this game. Out of the 3 original Primes, a lot of people don't like 2 because it has an ammo system for like the beam weapons. But I think 2 was my favorite. I think 2 was definitely my favorite. Atmospherically, I love the Luminoth as a race. I love when Umos is talking to you. The hints that you get from him is like very in character, very in universe. It still feels like you're isolated despite all of that stuff that I just mentioned, like the NPCs and stuff. I like 2 because it had multiplayer. Yeah, the multiplayer was definitely a big bonus. But 2 had a certain charm to the world that was distinct from all the Metroid games I've played so far. And it was just like I don't think they've managed to replicate the feeling that I had with Prime 2. Hey little guys, how you doing? I don't know. But all 3 Primes, I'd say, like, in general, just the Prime trilogy is my favorite Metroid games. Like, it's not even a question. I love Dread, I like Fusion, I liked Zero Mission and 2, and the remake for 2. Super Metroid, obviously I like Super Metroid, but I'm not an elitist that thinks Super Metroid is, like, the best thing since sliced bread. And I do think I have a very strong opinion regarding this. I don't think it's a good idea for them to try to replicate the previous games over and over again. Like, yes, keep the core gameplay as long as it's a mainline title, right? But they should definitely always try new things. And if there's stories they want to tell, it's definitely okay to have NPCs, as long as it's not at the expense of the atmosphere and the ambience of the game. Which is obviously everybody's points of contention for Prime 4 with, like, the guide NPC. But I'll make my own judgment when the time comes, which will hopefully be in less than a month. A month at most, we'll be playing it together, so. And for that one, because it'll be a completely brand new experience, don't expect me to yap as much. I will definitely be more quiet and more focused, and I will be locked the fuck in. If you want me to slow down whenever I scan stuff, let me know so that you get a chance to probably read stuff. It's literally all flavor text. Sometimes they'll give you hints about how to kill it, like for example, oh, it's easier to kill this thing with cold weapons, or like it's susceptible to the cold, or susceptible to the heat, or susceptible to electricity. There's a lot of hints that happen when you scan stuff, and you can also discover like stuff that might be breakable that you didn't know was there. We shall expect your final judgment. Oh, I will give my final judgment. I'm expecting to like it. Switch 2 or Switch 1? Switch 2, which is why it's going to take me a bit, because I need to acquire one of those. So, we will see. I want to play it at its peak. But like I said, I'm definitely expecting to like it. I think for sure there's going to be stuff about it that I don't like. Switch 2 is backwards compatible. Yes, it is. 100% backwards compatible. And by the time that I have Prime 4, I'll probably have figured out my monitor situation so that I can play this with the colors at their best rather than slightly washed out. Behold, my scans. What are you gonna do with number 1? Sell it? I'm not sure yet. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with the Switch one yet. I will probably sell it, but I'll have to see. Can I scan this? Okay, well, it doesn't give me anything else. So we press on. And this is what I was talking about. This is where you get lore. Give it to GameStop so they give you $10 and Popeye's coupon. Yeah. Yep. That's as best as it's gonna get. History of the Chozo stretches back into inches. So I'm not gonna read through the lore. I've read a lot of it. I'm pretty sure all of these lost lore entries are actually on the wiki site. You could also just look up a game. Well, I'm not trying to sit down and read everything for Prime 1. I've played this so many times. Whoops. But yeah, so you'll notice a lot of, like, something that's like really big for Metroid in terms of like the gameplay itself is just the backtracking, seeing stuff that's locked early on that you can unlock later on as you get your upgrades, exploring, and there's a lot of stuff that's actually not necessary for you to do. And it won't let me scan it from this side, you motherfucker. I'm gonna go through here. There, you like, I'm just enjoying the yap in the background while I work. Fair enough. Let's see, I'm just gonna try to see how quickly I can progress with the game. So I may just not scan some things, but I also can't, like, I force myself, like, it's just habit at this point. It's just, oh, I see, I'm new room, gotta scan shit. I could just fucking let go rather than skip all the way to the end. But yeah, it's literally just habit at this point, scanning everything. I can't help myself. It's built in over all these years. So I'm gonna give you guys an interesting detail about what I just scanned, not the wasps. So this little plating here in the original had a reflection. So when you jump up to here and you come here and you jump, you see Samus's reflection on it. They weren't able to replicate it on the Switch because it apparently, like, they couldn't find a way where it just wouldn't drop the performance in that room specifically. But there is the original devs of back from Metroid Prime 1, you know, before the remaster, they were mentioning how, like, a lot of people aren't gonna notice that it's missing, but for the people who were paying attention, it's a little sad that it's gone. It's just, oh yeah, another detail about Prime that you'll notice is sometimes you'll see red text. It tells you basically, hey, this is important. Yeah, the old game's code was built different. It was on the GameCube. But at the same time, like, I get it. The Switch is technically not that strong of a console. So my hope is that the Switch 2 is able to replicate some of those little details. Which is why I would much prefer playing Prime 4 on the Switch 2. I think what I'll... Oh, shit. GameCube was peak Nintendo console. It was indeed peak. It also didn't sell very well. It was considered a commercial failure. But the GameCube was very powerful, and the devs that used the GameCube optimized their games to shit and back. Did I scan you? Yes. I failed those games that came out with it so good. I think the problem with the GameCube was marketing, actually. It also came out at the same time as the PS2, and it didn't have a built-in DVD player. So, like, there's a lot of things that went into the GameCube failing. Some of the biggest things is literally the PS2, the DVD player is just... You know, you had something that could do both things, and the GameCube was just there like, yeah, we're a Nintendo exclusive console, and that's it. So it was just bad marketing, bad timing, and not having a built-in DVD player when... I think the Xbox also had a DVD player, didn't it? DVD players, and look at where we are now. Everything digital. I'm going to die on this hill. Everything digital is a bad thing. I will die on this hill. Everything digital is not a good thing. I like having digital things. It's convenient. But physical mediums, physical storage, like even if you like get rid of discs, if you get rid of discs and we go back to cartridges the way the Switch and the Switch 2 are doing it, I will gladly take that. Just let me have a physical form. The smell of the disc is the best. Well, of the box when you first open it. And we have like really good... Oh fuck, I should have scanned that. Oops. Let me scan. Thank you. And I think one of the oh right, I can't go through there yet. Haha. Ridge. I think I'm gonna have to... Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to. What's it called? Oh my fucking god. You know what? Fuck you. Yeah, the way this monitor interacts with the Switch is really strange, to say the least. Is this a missile? Yes, it is. I might. The thing is, 2 and 3 don't have remasters, so if I go back to play 2 and 3, I may have to do it through an emulator, but, you know, Nintendo emulators are, a little dangerous there. We'll see. I'll try. I will try. I will try. I will say one thing that I really miss from like physical copies is they kind of just killed the booklets, like the little guides that they came with, and now it's just the box and the game, so it's a little sad to see that gone. Yeah. My plan right now is to do Prime 1 and then hopefully be able to do the other two. But if I can't, I can't. Like, I'm not gonna stress it too much. I do have the original copies on my GameCube and my Wii, but I don't have those with me. And yeah. And I also do have to do Expedition 33, so there's factual information. You know what? I think what I made end up doing for Prime 4 is streaming on my TV rather than on my monitor. Just bring my laptop down, hook up the capture card to the TV, and play it that way. I think that's the play. So I'll just have to go downstairs and do that. I think that's a good idea. I think that's a great idea. And since I'll be yapping less, I can check chat. Well, I'll try to check chat as frequently as I can. Big monitor, obviously, but since I'll have the laptop in front of me, it shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, that's a good plan. What the fuck? Give me my health back. That will work out for you. It'll work out fine. Like, it's not gonna be that bad. I have plenty of long cables, so like... It's literally just put on my headset on the laptop, whatever you're more comfortable with, to be fair. Like, It's gonna be basically no different than what I'm doing now. It's literally gonna be no different. The only difference is I'm gonna be downstairs instead of in my room. That's literally the only real difference. The fuck? Oh, it's just a regular one. Yeah. Oh, and another major difference between like Prime. So one issue that people had with Prime 3, at the very least, the Prime enjoyers, not the 2D game enjoyers. Prime 3 doesn't have modular weapons, so like you can switch between your beams in 1 and 2. But in Prime 3, anytime you get a new beam, it's not an option, it just replaces your main beam, and it's just an upgrade to your main beam. So Prime 1 and 2 have the switching between the beams because they have different properties, different enemies. It allows you to have like enemies that are like specific types and you have to switch your weapons around to be able to like beat them. But because Prime 3 didn't have that, there was a little bit less enemy variety in that regard. I like Prime 3 a lot. I think it is the weakest of the Primes so far. I'm not gonna comment on 4 on whether I think it's gonna be weaker than 3 or not, because I genuinely don't know. It's and my literal only concern with Prime 4 so far has been the Mackenzie, the trooper. That's it. That's literally my only concern. Everything else looks fucking phenomenal. I haven't seen anything regarding different beam weapons or different missile types or anything. So the third game is more compressed in a sense. Yes. Yes. Because the thing about the third game is because it was on the Wii, they were trying to make use of the Wiimote gimmick, which for a lot of the parts of the Prime 3 felt really, really good. Like the grapple beam, you could use it to pull enemies' shields off, and you would literally use the Wiimote's motion for it. Holy shit, I nuked it. So it was... Oh, I didn't scan it. We'll see more later. It's fine. I might be able to still scan it. Ooh, hope it's dead. Whatever. I will get another chance to scan that thing later, but it doesn't matter, because my goal isn't to scan everything. It is to see how quickly I can get through this. I still think Prime 3 is more or less the same length as 1 and 2, but because it had some things like that, it was like button inputs were more compressed, is what I would say. Like you had less to worry about. Oh, fuck. Sandstone is morph ball bombs. But yeah, no, so what 3 did well, but in order to make up for the loss of the beam weapons, you had missile upgrades that were... Well, not really. Yeah, no, yeah, the 3 definitely was, like, mechanically, in terms of upgrades, it definitely was more compressed, because Prime 1 and 2, the super missiles modify based off of the beam weapon you're using. And in Prime 3, I don't remember if there was super missiles. I know that you get the ice missiles, and I think that's the only upgrade to the missiles you get. I could be wrong, though. And there could be an upgrade that's also super missiles, but in the case of Prime 1 and 2, you get an individual super missile upgrade for each beam, which makes 4 super missile upgrades. Whereas in Prime 3, you'd only get 1, by comparison. 3 had some really cool boss fights, though. I will say, a lot of the bosses in 3 are very, very cool, very memorable. But then again, I think, in general, Prime has the most memorable bosses across the series. Some people will fight me on that, because Kraid doesn't exist in Prime. But I think, as a whole, in like as a full game, there's more, like, I remember the bosses from the Prime games much better than the 2D games. And, like, obviously, Super Metroid had Kraid, Crocomire, Ridley, but Ridley shows up in almost every fucking Metroid game. Kraid has only shown up in Super and, Dread. And Nightmare was in Fusion. Yeah, Nightmare's in Fusion. Ceres is also Fusion. Phantoon... Super? Oh my fucking god, it's not letting me scan that. Whatever. Phantoon might have been just the other M. And was Phantoon in Fusion? I can't remember. And Dread has some cool bosses. Like, Ravenbeak is fucking phenomenal. I think Ravenbeak is one of the coolest final bosses that Metroid has ever had. And just one of the coolest villains, period. It really sucks that, he's fucking dead. Let's see. As far as the 2D Metroid games, that's kind of... There's the fucking worm in Super. Hey, well, what can you do? Yeah. I do like the 2D games. I don't... Like, I'm not... Oh, SAX in Fusion as well, obviously. And then Metroid 2, I think... Metroid 2, I think, has the weakest... in terms of the 2D games. Mainly because the vast majority of bosses in Metroid 2 are just different stages of Metroids. So, not terrible, but at the same time, it's missing variety. Which, to a lesser degree, also happened to Dread. Where there's a lot of boss fights that are kind of, repeat. The Dark Samus boss fight was fun. Which one? Which one? Dark Samus is, you fight Dark Samus once in Prime... Well, that's Prime 2. That's not Metroid 2. Metroid 2 is the 2D one, which is Return of Samus. Metroid Prime 2 has very memorable bosses. You know, you have Chica, you have Amorbis, you have Quadraxis, you have the Boost Guardian, was it the Double Jump Guardian? I can't remember. The other Ing. You have, I mentioned Quadraxis. Emperor Ing was fucking sick. The Dark Samus fight was fucking sick. You know, there's definitely a lot to like in Prime 2. And then Prime 3 built off of that. I think what's really cool about Prime 3 specifically is that it ties Prime 2 and 1 together really, really well. If Prime 3 didn't exist, Prime 1 and 2 wouldn't really make sense together. Like, their stories wouldn't really be connected. Because there's nothing really connecting them, at all. Oh, okay. If you are paying the fuck attention, you will recognize what's connecting Prime 1 and 2, but it is a single detail that gives it away. I never touched the old ones, only I did the Prime series. If you ever play the old ones, the 2D games, period, my recommendation is, don't play any of the originals. Anything that has a remake, play that. So, Zero Mission instead of the original Metroid. If you really want to go back and play the original Metroid, you can, just good luck. Zero Mission, the Metroid 2 remake is better than the original, or if you could find it, you can do the fan-made remake of it, another Metroid 2 remake. Then Super Metroid doesn't have a remake. I think it could use one. Probably would piss off the elitists that think Super Metroid is like the best thing ever. And I'm going to give them shade as much as I can, because sometimes their takes are genuinely fucking tarded. A game should not be built with the speedrunner as the core audience. Okay, let me rephrase. A game like Metroid should not be primarily built around the speedrunners. That's my controversial take regarding Metroid. But yeah, so Zero Mission, Metroid 2 Samus Returns, Super Metroid, and Fusion, and then Dread. Obviously, skip Other M, even though Other M is technically canon, but just skip it. If you're playing Metroid for Metroid, don't play Other M. It makes no sense. It's a waste of your fucking time. So, and then you have, obviously, Metroid Prime 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's literally zero need to do, like, any thinking. The way that the director has said, the original director of the Metroid series has said that Metroid Prime works is that, like I said, it's an offshoot of Metroid. And effectively, Metroid Prime 1 takes place between Metroid 1, or Zero Mission, and Metroid 2. So the Prime series is an offshoot directly after the first game, and then technically speaking, I don't know if they're gonna canonize the 2D games into the Metroid Prime universe. But if they do, I would assume that the Prime games are interweaved with the mainline games, but at the same time, it's like a little hard to say, just because of the way the timeline works. For me, I don't think I have time to play all of these, so I'll enjoy watching some gameplays of them. I will admit, or I will recommend at least giving it a shot. Zero Mission is like 4 hours long tops. A lot of them are really short. My recommendation is for new players to Metroid is just for the old ones, if you really want to know why people hype up Super Metroid all that much, play Super Metroid, but Fusion is your best bet, and if you really care about the story, I mean, you can go through all of them, but Dread and another Metroid 2 remake kind of tell you everything you need to know. Fusion can literally be summarized as Samus got infected. Yeah, all of the 2D Metroid games are short. They're all super, super short. They're like, Dread, if you're 100% Dread, it took me like 15 hours tops. If you're not looking for 100%, it's not going to take you 15 hours. I don't remember where the last one was. It's always this last one that gets me. It might have been in the water, now that I think about it. Oh, got that one. Got that one. But if you really don't want to go through the trouble of going through every single one of them, literally just play Dread. That's the only one you need to play. There's plenty of, like, they explain to you most of the lore. They even tell you what happens in Fusion at the start of it. Like, it's just... everything else is just pretty much unnecessary if you're just looking to get, like, a good lore rundown of the games. And if you want to enjoy the 2D Metroid games at their peak in terms of, like, smoothness and how the gameplay feels, Dread. And maybe Super, if you, again, if you really, really want to know why people glaze it all the time. I could have sworn... where the fuck is that? Oh, yeah, I'm stupid. It's always that one, by the way. Every single time I've played this game, it's always that one that catches me. I always forget the same one every single time. Also, the benefit of Dread is that there's tools for new players as well. If you do want 100%, or if you want to, like, if you don't want to miss certain upgrades, the map glows. The map has a little glow wherever there's, like, an upgrade in that area, so you'll know there's something there. And there's a tool that also helps. Like, you can do a scan that will show you, like, breakable tiles and shit like that, or hidden tiles. You don't need to use it. Some people complain that Dread is too easy and that that tool shouldn't exist. It also exists in the Metroid 2 remake. My take on that is, if you want to go with the original experience of not having a tool that reveals hidden blocks, don't use the tool. They don't force you to use it. You don't have to use it. And I think that's one of the good things about Dread is there's, like, new tools that exist in the game that are obviously mechanically important. Some of the abilities you actually need to beat the game. And then there's quality of life stuff that is completely optional. That's not what I meant to do. So I got that. Can't go there. This might be too high. I might need to double jump already. I think we start backtracking, if I remember correctly. Because I can't make that jump. Or can I? Nope. As far as Metroidvanias go, I think Metroid is some of the shorter ones, just because they're the original formula, and I'm hoping that Prime 4 is longer, but I'm not expecting it to be anything over 15 hours, which is typically what the Metroid Prime games are when it's your first time playing them. I'll be happy if it's longer, but yeah, I'm not expecting it to be. Pick yourself. What I need... So I can't go up yet. Wait, actually, let me try something. I might be able to. Nope, sandstone. Yep. Which means we just go back. What was I gonna say? I really like the fact that they're leaning into actually, well, hopefully by the time for the game matches the price. For me, it does. For me, it does. I think, like, having a really enjoyable experience, and I typically replay the Metroid games, like, at least twice, so I definitely get the value for the amount of money that I'm spending. Definitely not for everybody. I would like if more people played Metroid games, just so that, like, you know, we keep getting Metroid, but at the end of the day, I don't think it'll kill me if people don't. I also don't, like, I'm also someone of the firm belief that if you have a series and you want to avoid, to avoid it getting, like, made, for lack of a better term, slop or mainstream slop, you gotta gatekeep a little bit. So I only really recommend stuff to people that I know will enjoy it for what it is, rather than for what it could be if it became mainstream. But you guys told me you liked Hollow Knight. You guys listened to me yap about sci-fi shit. So I don't know. We'll see once I play Prime 4 anyways, so... I'm here. I can't go to that one yet. Can't do that yet. I think I just go back to Talon, yeah. Where's the elevator's back here? It's okay, Captain, just enjoy the game. I'm 100% certain that I'm going to enjoy Prime 4. And I guarantee you there is going to be something that I'm going to criticize about it. There's something that I can criticize about all the Prime games. And again, I do think it's a good thing that they're trying out new things with Prime 4, like with the motorcycle, with the psionic abilities. And while I enjoy the fact that they are trying to give us more story and give characters more personality, that's the one thing that I'm most hesitant about, because it's the one thing that they're trying. It's one of the non-gameplay things that they can do that could potentially have an impact on the atmosphere. And while a lot of people might say that it could happen, I just don't see Metroid ever becoming open world. It kind of ruins the flow of the game. I can see a spin-off title being open world, one that's not Samus. that doesn't pretend to be a mainline title or doesn't pretend to be like the original Metroid formula. I can see that happening. But like I said, again, there's other genres that I think spin-offs would do better in the Metroid universe. Like, hell, I can see a fucking, a PvP spin-off of Metroid, like a hero shooter spin-off of Metroid, I think could work well. As a pure multiplayer PvP experience that's just, like I said, a spin-off and nothing else. No story, no campaign, no whatever, just Nintendo's own Overwatch, let's call it. I would think that could work very well. As long as it's not pretending to be like multiplayer Doom. Yeah, kind of actually. I know a friend of mine said like he was comparing Metroid Prime to Doom. Yeah, I know the word Overwatch is terrifying. I understand, but I don't mean it in a bad way. I think hero shooters are not inherently bad. Marvel Rivals, for example, I have a lot of fun on, and I used to play Overwatch quite a bit before they made. Literally on and off, because sometimes they have good patches and sometimes they don't, but like I'm officially like done with Overwatch. I'm just not coming back. Even though I think the new Italian character is like, she's really cool, I don't see myself playing Overwatch anymore. I shouldn't be here. Yeah, run away, pussies! Whatever. I can't be here. Oh yeah. Overwatch died when they added the 2 after it. So, interestingly enough, I agree. With a nuance. I think one of the recent patches where they started adding stuff actually was a really good patch and was really fun to play, and I was playing it during that time where they added like the perks and stuff. That didn't save it, because all of the promises for Overwatch 2 were still dead. There was no PvE, all of the stuff that they mentioned that they wanted to do with Overwatch 2 didn't exist, and while it did fix the multiplayer a little bit, and they've been doing like some good patches, it's too little too late. The game's just not going to ever be what it was. And there's plenty of other things that I would rather spend time on. Hell, I would rather fucking... I would rather play... League of Legends, which I do, than Overwatch. And it's just... I'll relapse in League 1,000 times before I ever relapse in Overwatch again. Whoops. So, relapsing back into League, yeah. Yeah, I'm super cooked. But I only play it occasionally now, so it's not that bad. It doesn't drain my health. Or my mind. My mental. Also, this place we're currently in is the connecting point between 1 and 2 before you take 3 into consideration. Captain addicted to League again. I never said I was addicted again. I just said I relapsed. Which I guess implies I'm addicted. But I'm actually really looking forward to the next season in League, because, like, Demacia season and shit, and Shyvana rework, and Zahen is a cool new champion, and, like, there's new mechanics that they're adding that I'm, like, super interested in and shit, and it's just... yeah, I relapsed. I'm addicted. I'm sorry, guys. I'm cooked. Also, I'll give you a fun fact. Metroid ruined my taste in women. I did not make you relapse with me. I said if you wanted to play League, you could, but I wasn't forcing you to. Yeah, so Metroid ruined my taste in women. Because... and if you ever look at my list, my inexhaustible list of waifus, you'll notice a pattern. I like women that can just fucking kill me. Straight up. Straight up. Between Metroid and Final Fantasy Tactics, knightly women with a hidden soft side to them have become the bane of my existence. What's that one Spike Spiegel meme where he's fighting? I love a woman that'll actually just kill me. By the end of the first 8 hours, we should be completely different people. Make me your pee-pee piss-piss boy. You know that one? Yeah. Like, just crush me. I'm completely sane and can be trusted. Bro's never beating the goon allegations. I'm not trying to beat them. I am Space Pirate Goon Captain. The goon is part of my power. Did I scan all of them? Alright. So before I went on the tangents of gooning and Metroid ruining my completely demolishing Captain, time to take your pills now. Hey, if it makes any sense, it's low-key kind of why I like Carmelita Fox. You can blame Samus and Agrius Oaks for me liking Carmelita. Like, she can put me in handcuffs any day of the week, boys, I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, before I went on that tangent, this area here is what connects Prime 1 and 2 before Prime 3 ever existed. Because what happened here is a meteor landed on Talon 4. What happened in Prime 2 is a meteor landed on Ether. Why is that important? Both of these meteors contained a radioactive substance called Phazon. Why is that important that Phazon is connected? Because it brings them together. Nice clutch. Yeah, well, where the fuck am I going? Oh, I think I know where. Now, Phazon and these meteors connect the two games. You'll notice once we get to the final boss that inside of the final boss is inside of the meteor in both games. Well, in Prime 2, it's the second to last boss, technically, because Dark Samus is the final fight, and you fight Dark Samus, I think, like, twice prior to that. But, again, I'm just gonna say Emperor Ring is the final boss. But in order to fight Emperor Ing, you have to go to the meteor. In Prime 1, in order to fight the Metroid Prime, you have to go to the meteor. And then... Oh, we're going to... I know where we're going. Ah, you see? That's where I screwed up. I do have to go here. But I don't have double jump. Well, I don't remember. Whatever. And then Prime 3 connects all of that, like, further proves the connection by telling you where those meteors are coming from. It's this planet called Phase. Ha, Phazon, Phase, get it? They're connected because, yes. And this planet is semi-sentient. You gonna come? Thank you. The planet is like sentient, which I'm going to connect to Destiny. Haha, the 9 are sentient planetary forces made of dark matter. Anyway, so Phase is sentient, sends out these meteors called Leviathans, and they bring Phazon to planets, and they spread Phazon. And it's basically trying to corrupt the entire galaxy. And Dark Samus, which is created at the end of Prime 1 when you beat the Metroid Prime, becomes intelligent and starts using Phase itself. Well, yeah, when I said Phase was semi-sentient, it wasn't actually like super sentient. It's kind of like an animal trying to reproduce. But then Dark Samus becomes intelligent, goes back to Phase, and starts controlling the Leviathans and sending them out to specific places to actually just straight up control the fucking galaxy. Lo and behold, because we're getting a Metroid Prime 4, spoiler warning, Samus wins. Blows up Phase. I shouldn't be here. This is not where I'm supposed to go. I'm gonna go... Oh, no, wait, I can't. I literally can't go to Magmore at the moment. The reason for that is if I go, because Magmore Caverns is a very hot place and I lost my suit. My big shoulders. I can't go to places that are really cold or really hot or I'll take damage and die. But fun fact, in some Metroid games, where that is also the case, like in Dread, I have gone into those areas, picked up an upgrade, and then gone by do my merry business. Son of a bitch. Gone to do my merry business afterwards. So, one comment about Prime 1 that I can make regarding Magmoor Caverns, for example. Prime 1 technically was never finished. I mean, it was finished, but not... There is a lot of cut content that never made it to Prime 1. Magmoor Caverns doesn't have a boss, like any bosses at all. It was supposed to have one. And that boss was supposed to be Kraid. There was supposed to be another boss in the ice area that was like this giant fucking gorilla with 4 arms that got replaced by our Rocky Boy Thardus. And there's like a bunch of other little sequences. Prime... I can't remember if it was Prime 2 or Prime Hunters. I'm pretty sure it was Prime 2. Prime 2 had like this whole AI thing. Like an AI with 4 personalities that was supposed to like guide you along the game. And it was supposed to be kind of like a... You ever watch the movie... not Prometheus. Pandorum? It's like a horror thriller sci-fi movie. Well, whether you have or haven't, it's... Prime 2 was supposed to have more of a Pandorum vibe than what its current iteration is. And the AI was supposed to contribute to that, because you had an AI with 4 personalities, kind of switching personalities around, and you didn't know... You weren't supposed to know which personality was trying to help you and which was trying to kill you. So I'm supposed to go all the way over there, which means we take Le up. But then Prime 2 ended up being a completely different game. Now, the thing is, I genuinely can't remember if that was supposed to be Hunters or Prime 2, but I'm pretty sure it was Prime 2. Supposedly, some of the stuff in Prime 4 is adaptations of cut content from Prime 1. Supposedly. The wolves that we see in the ice area in the trailer might be an inkling, a hint that the ice area may have the giant gorilla boss. I don't fucking know, because I'm not looking anything up. And I promise to you, if any of you guys decides... You're not going to. I know you're not going to. But I'm going to give you the warning anyways, because it's funny as fuck. Any of you guys decides to serendipitously grace me with knowledge of anything from Prime 4, I will personally reach through your screen and throttle you. Smiley face. How long have I been playing for? It's already been an hour? What's already been more than an hour? Jesus. The yap is real! Holy shit! It has been more than an hour. Fuck me! Wow. I didn't know I could distract myself like that. It has not felt like an hour to me. Then again, I'm also playing Metroid, so hee. Well, I do have to get up there, and now I can't remember how I'm supposed to do that. Son of a bitch. I don't have double jump. Oh. Duh! It's really funny that my favorite series of games, or my favorite genre of games, is Metroidvanias, because I am genuinely dog shit at exploring and traversing, like, environments. And yet, it's one of my favorite things to do. Walk around and just see shit. And that's why I've been enjoying it in Sly Cooper so much. Just kind of going around the map and collecting stuff. Yeah, fuck this. So in Dread, the map has like these glowies where it'll tell you, it'll basically hint at you that there's something nearby, and it's not gonna be super specific. It's basically just, yeah, there's something in this room. Good luck finding it. None of the Prime games have anything like that. Occasionally, they'll give you a hint about where you're supposed to go, but they're not gonna tell you like those hints are never gonna tell you stuff you don't need to finish the game. End of story, right? So the only way for you to know if there's something nearby is either know it's there by memorizing it or looking it up, or hearing the upgrade sound effect. Which is the, wow, wow, that you'll often hear when I'm walking around where there's an upgrade nearby. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Teehee. This is important, because now we can actually progress once we beat this. That's not what I meant to do. Alright, buddy. Are you done? Thank you. Oops. Give me the bees! Oh shit, it's green. I need to scan that. Ouch. Very hot. Wow, that's crazy. I'm not gonna take that much damage from you. Who would have guessed? Oh! Actually, I just noticed a little detail that I don't remember being in the original Metroid Prime. They added a missile pickup that's only 3. I distinctly remember it being increments of 5 only. Huh. I'm convinced that's only in the Remastered, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just misremembering because I haven't played the original in so long. Also, Metroid Prime music, peak. Could be that I grew up with it, but it is some of the only music that upon hearing it the first time, I can, like, remember it for fucking months and years to come. Fucking love Metroid music. Dread didn't have that much memorable music now that I think about it. It was, like, maybe one track. I think that was the weakest part about Dread, to be honest with you, is the music. Which is unfortunate, because the game actually is really good. I think, as far as all of the Metroidvanias that I've played, I'll give you... Okay. I've enjoyed pretty much every Metroidvania that I've played. There's one that I haven't finished yet called Monster Sanctuary, because it's effectively a Pokemon Metroidvania. With some little funky monster dudes, like classic fantasy-style monsters. It is so long, and the fights take a long time, which is why I haven't finished it. I just play it on and off here and there. But it is a great game. I would recommend it. I think the map is very well laid out, and like the progression in that game feels really good. The one game, or the one Metroidvania that I've played that feels fucking awful to traverse, even though the gameplay itself is phenomenal, Ender Lilies. Well, I would recommend Ender Lilies if you get lost easy, or if you in any capacity get frustrated by constantly checking a map, you're gonna get frustrated playing Ender Lilies. that game had me perpetually glued to the map. And that says something, considering the fact that playing Hollow Knight Silksong, you guys saw me glued to the map. Fuck. Did I cook this? Nah. Yeah, I'm fine. Another thing they added to Metroid Prime Remastered that wasn't in the original didn't let you jump on the Morph Ball. You had to use your bombs to jump. That's the jumping Morph Ball thing is a feature that they added in Metroid Prime 3, and then they brought it back. It might be in the trilogy, actually, in the Wii collection. But it certainly wasn't in the original or in Prime 2, I'll tell you that much. So, quality of light features like that, definitely looking forward to Prime 4 having a lot more quality of light features that the first three don't have. Dual stick controls is one of the best things that's happened to Metroid Prime, unironically. Feels a lot better than the originals, and while I got really good at the control schemes of the originals, I am not going back to that. You cannot convince me to go back to that. It's like trying to play Ape Escape after you've played, like, Ape Escape 3. It's just not happening. Give me an emulator to rebind the controllers at that point. Oh, give me a second, actually. I forgot to do that. There we go. Two energy tanks already. We're at 20 missiles. Yeah, we are going to succeed everything. Excuse me. Oh, I hear it. Because that is up there. Sandstone wall, and you need Morph Ball to get up there, but I don't remember. I think it's that one, actually. Maybe not. Oh, let me see if I can grab the upgrade that's up there. Once again, I have fallen. And I can't get up! Oh no. I can't remember how to get up. I think it's just double jump, huh? I think it's just double jump. Whatever. It's there. It'll always be there. God, I've played the Metroid Prime games so much that the sound effects from just stuff floating around is permanently etched into my brain. It's also very clear, at least in Prime 1 and Prime 2, it's always clear where you're supposed to go next. Granted, they do have the system where they can help you out in case you do get lost, but for the most part, if you've been, like, if you're paying attention to the game, if you're paying attention to your upgrades and you're looking around, it should be obvious where you're supposed to go next. Because a lot of the times, you pass by the place you're supposed to go, but you don't have the upgrade for it, and then, like, 20 minutes later, you get the upgrade for it. Can I scan you, please? There we go. Jesus. I have a bunch of Metroidvanias in my freaking Steam wishlist that I need to get through at some point. But I also just have so many games that I need to work on. I don't know. I'm sure I'll get to them at some point. I've been working on like my backlog, doing E33, doing Tales of Arise. Tales of Arise I had actually intended to play a lot earlier, but I'm glad I waited because I would not have been able to play it with Jacob, or I would probably not have streamed it if I hadn't waited this long. Open sesame. See how far we can make it today. Let me in! You son of a bitch, camera shift, you fucked me up! I scanned. I have not scanned the poison weed. Usually the camera changes aren't heinous, but that was always the case for that specific spot. It's even since Prime 1, just because of... I got here by a lot quicker than I was expecting to. First major boss, by the way. That's not the tutorial boss. Fun fact about this boss, actually. In the North American version, in the GameCube, the music was switched, so it looped a lot earlier than it's supposed to. So you never got the full track. Now let's see if I kill him fast enough before that loop happens. Nope. Yeah, so this part you're hearing right now, not in the original. In the NA version. Oh, you slut. You slut, stop it! Turn that boss into a salad, you know it! We're making foie gras salad! How it tastes. Probably got a lot of meat in that plantiness. Wonder what... Alright. Judging based off of its appearance, what kind of dressing we putting on the salad? Caesar? Maybe some vinaigrette? I don't know that many dressings. I'm not a salad connoisseur. I eat a lot of meat. That's my go-to is meat. Yeah, it keeps hitting me. Look, all the good that's gonna do you. Son of a bitch, that actually hurt. Eat it raw. I'm not a goat, buddy. I'm just saying, ow, fuck. I'm just gonna start munching on that grass. Take fucking chunks out of it. This thing spreads poison and venom in the water of the entirety of Chozo Ruins. I don't think eating it raw is a good idea. It's like eating pufferfish raw. Am I gonna do it anyways? Yes. Am I gonna get excessively sick? Probably. Another thing to note, most Metroid bosses are gimmick bosses. So if you don't like that, probably not might not be a... Oh, Well, I guess most Metroidvania bosses are gimmick bosses, now that I think about it. Well, maybe not. In Metroid, yes. Hollow Knight, not so much. I might have taken too long for this. Yep. Upside, I know where it is, and I can just go to it this time and not fuck up and not die. Also, its face is kind of scary because its mouth looks like a skull, but that's not where its fucking eyes are. This is a really well-designed boss concept, I'm gonna be honest with you. I love the Metroid Prime bosses. Hooray! Clean water. And I didn't die. Crazy. I think they changed this. I can't remember if in the original or not you had to scan the upgrade before picking it up in order to get an entry for it. Or, like, in order to get, like, extra credit. I'm pretty sure you didn't. I always do, just in case. And behold, we are back to, our power level at the start of the game, and it's been, what, an hour and a half? Even though I was eating shit for about 15 minutes with my screen. Whee! We can access... And something you guys didn't see, because I never got to this point, or I didn't... Oh, fuck me. I didn't try to walk around this by going to the other areas and, like, skipping some things. One of these areas... It was fast, thank you. I am very fast. The access to this from the back here, from here, is actually blocked off. You can't access it from behind. If you somehow manage to get back here, it wouldn't let you in. Oops. I think I should be able to kill this. Nope, I don't have weight beam. Raw energy can only be defeated by electricity. Also, these get closer to you. They're attracted to charge beam, which is really funny. I like them. The cute little balls of kill me. Actually, what's the room that's locked? It's not that one. Ah, whatever. There's a certain hallway you can't access while Flagra is still alive, and now I can't remember which one it is. Cordite is super missiles or wave beam. Yeah, because you can't get to that back hallway normally early on. You need a lot of things. You need either super missiles or the wave beam and the heat visor. And you need the the magnetic ball. So I'm definitely wrong about which hallway it was. Yeah, I know. They block entry, but there's a way to open these. Relocking message. The lock is active, but its key slot is sealed by a weak metal grating. So in the original, you would have had to do a bomb bounce and then put a bomb. In this one, since you can just jump, you don't even have to do that. So in the original, I'm just like here, I would just do this, jump, and or do this, and get up there. But in the current, or like in, I can't speak. In the current version, that's the way that I would do it. It's the easier way. In the original version, in order to get to that second one, it's actually harder because you have to do this. And time it perfectly. Which is much harder than just like jumping, putting a bomb, and then jumping on it again. Well, maybe not much harder, but, you know, timing. You get used to it eventually. And that was the bomb double jump way back when. It's a lot of cool little mechanics that kind of existed out of necessity, right? I like the fact that they added the jumping on the morph ball, but it definitely makes puzzles, well, quote-unquote puzzles, like that one, that are simple, but kind of like mechanically a little bit harder. It simplifies them. It just makes it a little easier. But, you know, Prime 1 wasn't designed with the jumping ball in mind, which is why it's there. I'm sure, like, Prime 3, a lot of the puzzles were designed with the jumping morph ball in mind. It does make it fun, yeah. But, like, for example, in Prime 3, there's actually, you need to do you need to do, effectively... Yeah, so that, right? Whatever. I can't get it right now, but you get the idea. You actually can do that in Prime 3, and there is definitely a puzzle that requires it, now that I think about it. Or maybe not requires it, but it makes it a lot easier to do it that way, rather than the original way. And you can kind of sequence break certain things by doing shit like that, thanks to the morph ball jump. I don't like sequence breaking shit. I like the intended design of the game, because I think, especially for Metroidvanias, there's a lot of Metroidvanias are designed in mind with you going to different places and exploring it at your own pace. Like, for example, Hollow Knight and, like, Silksong especially. There's, like, I did things in a different order than my friends did. And I think that's sick as fuck. And I think while sequence breaking is interesting, I think Metroidvanias should be designed the way that Hollow Knight is designed, with the map being... with progression being open enough that you can access a lot of things at your own pace. Or in... that there is enough variance that my progression might be in a different order than yours. Little bastard. I'm just gonna leave you alone. But yeah, this map was supposed to have a boss, and then it never ended up having one, because they had to push the game out on a deadline. It's unfortunate that they couldn't delay it, because I believe the boss in this area was supposed to be like one of these, but much bigger. Big old magma worm. Oh, there's actually an important detail, and something that people complain about nowadays in regards to sequels and stuff like that. And I guess it's not really like a huge complaint, but there is, you know, it's something that's noted, and it's especially true when you look at FromSoft games and how some people complain about FromSoft games having this. A lot of the times, the Prime games reuse skeletons and, like, certain, like, enemy shapes, which doesn't seem to be the case in Prime 4 so far. I haven't seen anything that is, like, distinctly similar to the previous games. But Prime 2 and Prime 3 had enemies that had the same skeletons as in Prime 1, for example. Or Prime 3 had a similar enemy that was in, like, Prime 2. I think when it comes to sequels, reusing certain assets makes sense, right? Like, and you see it in FromSoft games a lot, where the skeleton of an enemy is reused, or like, oh, son of a bitch. Yeah, it's like reusing it's definitely reusing assets, but it's never like one-to-one. It's definitely never one-to-one. Or, I mean, obviously some games do make it one-to-one, but like Metroid Primes have never done it one-to-one, as far as I'm aware. And like FromSoft games typically don't do it one-to-one, but to give you an example, Elden Ring has the big fat tree things. I don't remember what they're called. Was it the tree guardian? Guardian spirit? I don't fucking remember. Big fat, has a massive club, uses holy magic. It's a tree. That one is using the tutorial demon from Demon Soul, Tree Spirit. It should be the Tree Spirit, but I don't remember exactly, because I think the Tree Spirit is the worm. But you might be right, either way. What's it called? But yeah, that's a reused skeleton. That's not unique to Elden Ring. And the wolf of Radagon, the red wolf, is also a reused skeleton. And there's some stuff in Elden Ring that you wouldn't think it's a reused skeleton, because it's just like, oh, none of the old games have this. But it was content from one of the old games that they decided to use in a new game. I think stuff like that is fine, especially with sequels. It lowers production costs, as long as they're unique enough, right? You might change the texture, like it might still be the same skeleton, but it might have like a completely new moveset. That's fine by me. And in some cases it might be similar, but in the case of like the tree spirits, they had pretty similar kits other than being able to use magic. From what they're like the original. I've never had any qualms with that, especially not with like with stuff where it makes sense, right? If they decided, for whatever reason, to stop developing League of Legends and make League of Legends 2, I would not expect them to rebuild every fucking champion from zero. I would expect them to use the skeletons that they have, maybe update textures, maybe update shaders and stuff like that, and you know, for champions that absolutely need their rework, you know, if they just decided to stop developing League now and make League 2, like, there's a bunch of champions that still need reworks that are really super dated. I would expect those to be new. But not, like, new champions or stuff that has already received reworks and shit like that. It makes no sense to me. And to some degree, I think that's what happened with, like, Smite and Smite 2, where it's like they reused the skeletons. Some gods got new models, new textures, new skeletons, but it wasn't every single one. At that point, just retired from League, yeah. For real. Fun fact, that's another thing that made that hard, is you have to make that jump without the jump. As long as it's not overused, it's fine. Absolutely. In the same vein, like, if D3 actually is being made like the leak says, I don't expect them to remake every single fucking enemy from scratch. Obviously, I want there to be plenty of new things in D3, and I want it to be like basically a new experience. But I don't want them to have to go through the effort of re-skeletoning and rebuilding... Is the worm looking for the root bosses is what you're referring to? Yeah, the tree spirit is, yeah, it was definitely the worm. It's the ones that are guarding, like, the gold seeds, the upgrades. They're the big fat boys. Was it the Taurus demon that they're based off of? The tutorial boss from Demon Souls is what they were based off of. Oh, to the other side. I shouldn't, actually. But yeah, like, you understood which ones I meant. I'm just bad with names. Even though I can remember, like, everything from Metroid by name. That's the one. The fat demon, yeah, that one. Asylum demon, that's what it's called. Not the Elden Ring one, the one in Demon Souls, it's the Asylum demon. Stop shooting me. I'm innocent. I swear. Bendenzium. That's a power bomb. But yeah, I forgot their name, but they aren't bosses, just like the Guardians. They have a boss health bar. They're just not. They're like roaming bosses. I'm pretty sure they have a boss health bar. I think. I haven't played Elden Ring in a really long time. I might be wrong. Bye-bye, little fucker. I feel a little bad killing you. You're just minding your own business, but, bye-bye. We... Do I make the jump? Yes. The fire didn't get me. Crazy. Don't look at me, I'm bad at remembering. Trust me, I feel that. Tree Avatar is what you're looking for. There we go. There we go. That's the one. That's the one. Allen Overworld West. I'm not going the way I'm supposed to be going, by the way. I need to be going to Phendrana. Am I gonna do that? Fuck no. I'm gonna go this way and see what I find. Side by side, they look similar. That's because they're using the same skeleton. It's the same exact skeleton, and you even notice it with some of the animations. The archery avatar uses some of the same swings, and like it sits on you the same way the Asylum Demon does. It's just that the archery avatar also has a bunch of new moves, and is obviously retextured. Like the model isn't one-to-one, but it is pretty similar. Or it's, yeah. Oh, I see where I'm at. And there's definitely plenty of cases in not just Elden Ring, but in a lot of FromSoft games where they reuse stuff. I'm okay with it, because in Elden Ring, these were literally just roaming bosses that didn't really have anything to do with like the main game, and they were just there for like an added challenge. And because Elden Ring's mechanics are different enough from Demon Souls, fighting them doesn't feel the same anyways. It's like, who cares at the end of the day? It saves them money. You get a somewhat... They do have a health bar. Okay, so they are side bosses, yeah. You know, you get an interesting experience out of it. You get a little bit of a challenge. And... I didn't really feel like it was the same as in Demon Souls. And again, it's because Elden Ring plays completely different from Demon Souls. Well, not completely different, but you get the point. Wow, I missed that. Fantastic. But yeah, just like the ulcerated tree spirit, it's like you don't have to fight the ulcerated tree spirits, but hey, if you do... And again, Elden Ring also has plenty of like completely new content that makes the reusing of certain things okay. Like I wouldn't want a mainline boss, like a story boss or like a mandatory boss, to be reused assets. But for stuff that's kind of minor, kind of out of the way, to add a little bit of fluff to the game, as long as it's not repetitive, I think it's fine. There's an enemy in Metroid Prime 2 that, once I get to Phendrana Drefts and see, like, the version that's in Prime 1, I'll tell you. But yeah, there's literally, like, a few enemies in Prime 2 that have the same exact skeleton and are very reminiscent of the ones from Prime 1. But they're just normal enemies. They're not bosses or anything like that. And the only bosses that are ever used in Metroid is fucking Ridley. And I guess Kraid in Dread. Damn turrets are gonna kill me. You actually do take a lot more damage in hard than you do in normal. This is it's a lot more damage. These turrets are fucking tanky. That's because they're not the same as the ones on the ship. They're actually just straight up hyper tanky. I wonder if Metroid Prime as a series is ever going to get the later life stages of Metroids. So, for context, Metroids, which are the little floaty bastards that look like a little green floaty brain, those, the titular characters of the series, in Metroid 2, it was revealed to us that they actually have multiple stages of their life. The little floaty brain is the larval stage. The only places where they evolve past the larval stage is in their home planet, SR388. In no other game do they ever evolve past that. Well, I'm gonna correct myself. Do they properly evolve past that? In Prime 1, there is technically an evolution of the Metroids, which is the Hunter Metroids, but that's only because they've been afflicted by Phazon. So a radioactive substance mutated them. But the actual life cycles of a Metroid don't ever appear in any game other than Metroid 2. Which is kind of sad, because I feel like they could be really cool in a 3D Metroid title. It just contextually does not make sense for them to exist outside of SR388, because it's established that they only grow to those stages on the home planet. And a cool little detail about the Prime games, when you scan stuff like what I just did, or like the research logs that actually go into your logbook, especially with the Space Pirate ones, you'll see, like, the perspective of the Space Pirates as Samus is wreaking havoc on their bases and shit. And you'll also see, like, little details learning about, like, the culture of the Space Pirates, who are objectively an evil species. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or but about it. There's no good Space Pirates. End of story. Full stop. They're all bad. But you get some cool little details, like, for example, some Space Pirates try to keep pets. Even though it's frowned upon, especially like keeping a Metroid as a pet. And they still do it. And I think that's a really cool way of doing storytelling in Metroid. You can't really do it in the 2D ones because you don't have a scan visor in the 2D ones. But Prime has so much flavor because of these like little texts that you see. And I think it's a real shame that there are people who think that this isn't to remove the criticism of Mackenzie and Prime 4. Again, I haven't played Prime 4. I don't know how bad he's going to be. I do know that what they have shown is not, you know, it's not great. But there are people who actually believe that all the scan logs and the stuff that we read in the Prime games is unnecessary. I mean, it is unnecessary, but that's not the point that I'm trying to make. But, like, they believe that it's extra effort that takes away from the production of the game. And it's just, they're like, I don't think they're that hard. It's literally just a bunch of text. And it just adds flavor. And they're like, oh, like, piecing together the Metroid story should be done naturally rather than through lore entries. And I think, as far as Metroid goes, it's just extra information that you would never know otherwise unless they release some sort of book. In which case you'd be reading anyways. And I'd rather have it in the game than out of the game. I'm not, like, I'm definitely, like, making it seem worse than it is. Like, people are saying, like, oh yeah, just remove this completely. That's not, like, the point that I'm trying to make. It's more so that there are people who who don't think the scan visor is necessary, basically. And while it's true that it's technically not necessary, it's just... It's one way to really add flavor to the universe and, like, make the world of Metroid, like, flesh it out in an easier way rather than having to add 3,000 different things. Also, these are the enemies I was talking about. Prime 2 has a mob that is basically identical to this, but the way they work, if I remember correctly, you can't break their back. You have to shoot them specifically only when they're tired, because otherwise they absorb the bullets. So it's like, it's the same skeleton, the same kind of attacks, but fighting them is slightly different. Let it go, let it go. I've been frozen as a ball. Streamer debuff. Yeah, I'm just yapping. I'm just yapping. The yap debuff is more than real. Remember, if you don't want to look like an idiot while playing games, just stop talking. You'll focus a lot better. Samus face jump scare. God, I love that detail so much. Is it in here? I hear it. Where the fuck was it? There's an upgrade somewhere around here, and oh, there it is. This plasma beam? Yep. Hello, you little shit. Jump! Ow. Little buggy boys. Why are there so many? I don't remember there being so many in this room. Son of a bitch. I believe that's just melted. Melted with extreme heat. Yep. Hello, balls. Just... You'll leave me completely alone so long as I don't charge my beam. Oh look, wave beam up there. Oh look, another upgrade in here. Go away. Oh shit. Nice balls you're shooting at me. There's a comment I was going to make and now I'm forgetting what it is. Really? This first? I remember getting the wave beam before this. Balls. We love balls, chat. I love balls, Charlie. I love balls. Ah! I like playing Metroid Prime because I know this game so well, I can yap and the streamer debuff doesn't show as bad. I can't wait to see what cutscenes they drop on us in Prime 4. Prime 3 had a lot of cutscenes too, actually. And Prime 2 as well. I think Prime 1 is the only one that didn't really have that many cutscenes. Which makes sense, you know, it was the first Prime game they were doing. The story is kind of minimal. It's basically just... We go to Frigate Orpheon because we're chasing Ridley down or some shit. Or there's a stress call, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it's just we're just chasing Ridley. And we end up on Talon 4. We find out the Chozo are here. And we find out that some meteor crashed on Talon 4 and basically started the Great Disease, or the Great Sickness, I think it was called. The Great Poison, which is the Phazon that landed with the meteor. And then we go clear it out from the planet, and that's it. Metroid Prime 1 didn't really have that much story. Prime 2 had more of a story, like more lore going on, definitely like more stuff. The extent of which is... Get off me, bitch. The extent of which is kind of... You know, it's got a bigger extent than Prime 1, but again, the story is kind of limited. It's self-contained within Prime 2, and like I said before, Prime 3 tied them all together. And if you hadn't played Prime 1 and 2 prior to Prime 3, then the story would still make perfect sense to you. But there's a lot of flavor, there's a lot of like little notes, little context that is in Prime 3, and it adds a lot to your experience having played Prime 1 and 2. You know, you go back and you start looking at things and you just say like, oh shit, this is this. Oh shit. You know, and it starts making a lot of sense. And especially because you also learn a lot about like the space pirates across all 3 games too. I know where I need to go. Back to Talon Overworld we go. Yippee! And more. I don't know, that's definitely something that I've liked about Retro Studios' storytelling. It's... The Prime Trilogy had a slow burn, and yet it had a compelling narrative going for it. And all of the side stories that you read, reading all the lore entries inside of the games adds so much more to the story, which is why I think they're actually kind of important, even though they're unnecessary. I could be talking out of my ass. I could definitely be blowing it out of proportion. It's just a couple of comments that I've seen that made it seem like there's probably a bigger crowd than there actually is that dislikes the lore entries. But, I don't know. I treat Metroid the same way I treat Dark Souls. The story's told through items and through, I guess, in here, it's through scan logs. And through the game itself. And it's the same thing from, like, Dark Souls and Bloodborne and stuff like that. They don't typically, I feel like there was a lore report any... Yeah, so, like... Local crystal formations possess low Phazon residue. They do have high value to the monks of Grondheim, however. Recommend processing of crystal for that market once Phazon operation cease. The monks of Grondheim are never fucking mentioned ever again. Like, at all. That's literally just a random piece of lore that adds absolutely nothing to the story, but it makes the Space Pirates feel more than just, hey, we're gonna steal shit, and we're gonna do really evil, immoral stuff. Like, they're selling stuff to some other race. Unless the monks of Grondheim are also Space Pirates, which I really fucking doubt the Space Pirates have monks. Ow. But, like, throughout all 3 games, there's pieces of lore and information that all it does is serve to make the galaxy feel more occupied by people. Shit. And I think I really like those details from Metroid. The world building is there, and like this is especially something that Retro Studios does. The 2D Metroid games do not at all imply any of this. Like, ever. There is... Even Dread doesn't really talk about other species. It's literally just what's in the game and that's it. With the exception of, like, Dread talking about a couple of other things. The Dark Souls especially, yeah. I don't know. I like in-world storytelling. It just... It feels more real. Like, you know, I come across I come across a book, or not a book, but like a clipboard. And on the clipboard, and I guess you kind of see it in like Resident Evil 2, where it's like, it just says like, ah, yes, we gave the mutated gorilla chainsaw arms. Day 1, right? Day 5, the gorilla escaped. That type of shit. It kind of tells you stuff that was going on. I fucking love that shit, because sometimes it's just so stupid and funny. And you see it in Metroid Prime too, where like there's some lore entries for like the space pirates. Well, you see them doing something where it's like, you see them saying like, with the Metroids, don't keep Metroids as pets, right? We will reduce your rations if we find you feeding like Metroids more than like what they're supposed to be fed. And then you'll read another entry of this space pirate feeding a Metroid, and it's like, day 1, I gave him extra rations. Day 6, he escaped and killed my best friend. I had to kill the Metroid before it killed anyone else. I will be getting executed or exiled by High Command now. Goodbye. And obviously it's like more wordy, more, you know, it fits in. I'm just like simplifying and making it seem really memey, but that is effectively what it ends up being, and it's... Metroid isn't a humorless series. It's just, typically it's in primes, in the Prime games, and it's not the core of the game. It's something you have to go out of your way to find, or just scan. You're not really going out of your way. You're in the room, you notice there's a little red glow, you go scan it. Ow. And it definitely just adds a lot to the world, because otherwise we wouldn't know shit about the galaxy in Metroid other than the planets that Samus has visited in each of the games, and that's it. And we legitimately wouldn't know anything else. And for all the criticisms that Prime 3 has, I do think the NPCs were done in a really good way. And a couple of them actually make jokes. Again, not a humorless series, just... you have to know when and where to use it so that you don't get rid of that feeling that Metroid is known for. It's a fine balance that they have to strike, but I do think it is important for Metroid to have a compelling story, or at the very least a compelling narrative. There needs to be some way for the directors and the devs to share that information. NPCs in one way, it's just NPCs are a little riskier because of the way that Metroid is. And yet, Dread exists, and there's NPCs in Dread, and Samus talks for the first fucking time in Dread. We don't count other M. For the first time in Dread, and it didn't remove the feeling of isolation. And like that ambience, it didn't disappear because of it. She spoke bird. Yes, sir, she did. The first time we've ever heard Chozo spoken was in Dread, and it was fucking amazing. And Samus spoke it too. Also, Samus's voice actress in Dread has a really, really nice voice. I just want to comment, she did a phenomenal job. And I think very few people can really nail the vibes that Samus gives, and she did a, like, fantastic job. And then, you know, Samus's generational crash out while killing Ravenbeak. That scream was, lives rent-free in my head. I got double jump. I go back to Phendrana? I think I do. Goon-free in your head. Lives goon-free in my head. I don't know if that makes as much sense. But you know what? You're not wrong. Just keep on. Could go to the Chozo Ruins, but I don't remember. Is there anything over there? Hold on a second. What do I need a double jump for here? No. Oh, I could go back here, actually, because I do need that. But I think I need a separate upgrade for that. Not here. I'm pretty sure I just go back to Fendrana. I get Wave Beam. I didn't make it. Fucker. I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff. And I think... So, an interesting detail about Prime 4, or I guess the Prime trilogy as a whole, because it's kind of gone over if you get the 100% endings. So, Metroid Prime Hunters is not a mainline title, right? It's a spin-off of Metroid Prime, but it is canon to Metroid Prime, and with good reason. What's interesting about Prime 4 is, at the end of Prime 3, the Metroid Prime's fucking dead. Like, we're done. Dark Samus is gone. No ifs, ands, or buts about that, as far as we know. So, the fact that it's still a Metroid Prime game, you know, it's like, what's connecting Prime 4 to Primes 1, 2, 3, and right? It's Sylux. It's literally just Sylux. Sylux is the connection why it's still a Prime game and why it doesn't have a different title. Because Sylux appears in Prime Hunters, and he's the... I don't want to say he's the most interesting character of Prime Hunters, because that's subjective. But there's something to be said about his hatred for the Galactic Federation and Samus, where it's like, why? Are we ever gonna find out why Sylux hates the GF and Samus? Most likely, yeah, we will find out at some point. If he dies in Prime 4, I don't think they'll kill Sylux in Prime 4, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think we're gonna defeat him, and he's gonna be on the verge of death, and he's gonna be there like, I'm going to summon some sort of power. I'm almost convinced that's what's gonna happen. But, regardless of that, yeah, he's the connection to like that makes Prime 4 Prime 4. And one of the prevailing theories about who Sylux is, and this is kind of weird in a sense, Metroid has a manga, which is really weird to think about, but the prevailing theory of who Sylux is comes... I don't even think it comes from the manga. I think it comes from a fucking, like, Game Informer magazine from, like, way back when. Where Samus apparently has a brother that possibly died that we have no idea what happened to. And the theory is that that's Sylux. Because he's human-shaped, he stole a Galactic Federation suit, which means he's most likely a human. He hates Samus, he hates the Galactic Federation. Why does he hate Samus? When did he interact with Samus? What connections does he have with Samus? Are we going to learn these questions in Prime 4, or the answers to these questions in Prime 4, or is this going to be something that, like, that we're going to have to find out over the course of potentially another Prime trilogy with 4, 5, and 6? Are they planning to do 4, 5, and 6? Or is Prime 4 just supposed to be a self-contained story? I don't fucking know, which is why I'm so excited for Prime 4. There's so many questions I have. Are the other hunters from Prime Hunters going to get mentioned? Like, ever? Are they going to be brought up ever again? Are they only contained in Prime Hunters, or are they going to exist in the next Prime trilogy? Going in blind like a baby. Mostly blind. Because I have seen, like, the trailers and shit, and I know, like, for example, Mackenzie exists. I know there's going to be cutscenes where GF troopers talk. Because obviously, he's not the only one. We raid the research station that the Spire Pirates are raiding at the beginning of the game. And it's... all they've shown, other than Mackenzie's existence, all they've shown gives me more questions than any answers I could possibly glean from the trailers. So, like, I'm gonna be tripping the fuck out while we're playing that game, and and I'm gonna be reading as much of, like, the scan entries as possible to see if there's anything that I recognize, anything that, like, calls out my attention, anything that I've seen or read in the Prime games, or just in the wikis or any references to the 2D games other than the first one. Because who knows? What if Prime 4, there's a leap in time where it takes place between, like, it takes place after Prime 3, obviously, but what if it actually takes place after Metroid 2? So now we actually have the Metroid 2 content also included in that. Did I come here for no reason? The wave beam. No. Did I come here for no reason? It's wave beam. Hold on. I don't actually remember which way I'm supposed to go. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to get the wave beam now. And I think... Oh, yeah, I think I know where, through where, actually. This is because of the double jump that I'm able to do this. Go away. So that is... Oh, no, I'm wrong. I need to go back to the shorelines. I'm a moron. I don't know. You can tell that I'm like obsessed with Metroid on this point. So you know, if it comes off as off-putting, suck me. It's my mental illness, and I get to choose the obsession. Now from here, I have to get to that site, which is through over there. Nope. I can't remember. I think it's just through here, actually. No way, who could have guessed? That's crazy. Certainly wouldn't have been me. It would have been lost on me 100%, I promise. I'm not that hard. I swear to you, I'm smarter than that. Hey, buddy. Also, as a note, since I kind of skimmed through it, these little guys, when you first read their lore entry, it says Baby Sheegoth. This is a baby. This thing is the size of me. Take a wild guess where I might find the adult. Another interesting detail about Metroid, the Chozo that are present in the Prime games, at the very least the ones in Talon 4, are not part of the two main clans mentioned in the Metroid 2 remake and Dread. They are completely separate from those two clans. They decided to fuck off and go back to living with nature. Because they thought their technological advancement was cooked. Seek my twin within this room. It's plasma beam. The shaman is the one I need. You're not the shaman. Philosopher. And in general, like throughout the games, they mention to you that the Chozo like enlightened other species. This is a lot more evident once you get to Prime 3, but in Prime 2, the Luminoth, I believe, were, like, to some degree enlightened by the Chozo, and their technology is, like, mentioned to be similar. But in Prime 3, you literally have an entire civilization on a planet that was uplifted, and then they just straight up died out completely. Cooked. Funny how the Chozo outlived one of the races they uplifted. Well, well, yeah, I guess they did outlive it, because They Tachanka. Tachanka is the one from Siege, the Russian with LMG mounted and loaded. But yeah, pretty much. That is exactly what they did. The thing is about the Elysians is I don't remember exactly how it is that they killed themselves. I don't remember if it was an issue of them not having resources, because they lived in floating cities in Elysia. Mass Effect mentioned. Because Elysia is a gas planet, and they literally just floated, or maybe, I don't remember if it's a gas planet or if it's like just a really thick atmosphere and the surface is just fucked. But yeah, an uplifted species that lived floating in the clouds in cities. That was a recipe for disaster from the get-go, I'm not gonna lie. Also, underused sci-fi trope. Arm cannons need to be more of a thing in other sci-fi games. The fact that Metroid is basically the only one is a fucking travesty. Obviously, they don't have to be identical to Samus's, but arm cannons are sick. Okay, buddy. Could you fucking not? Thank you. If you'll excuse me, I need more missiles. Thank you very much. Alright, I should be able to kill you now. Come here. Come here, you big old bitch. I don't know. Some of the aliens in, some of the alien monsters in Metroid could very well fit into Mass Effect 2. Like, if Tachanka ever had a frozen region, I could see this thing being a fucking massive player over there. It's like a two-legged, really fucked up Varen. I don't know, it's a little uglier. Varen are a teensy bit cuter. Ironically enough, a game that technically has arm cannons in sci-fi is StarCraft with... And I say technically because it's more like a whole fucking power suit that the Marauders and the Firebats have. But it's still an arm cannon. You know what? I for some reason, I remember being able to fight this with the charge beam, but I guess not. Holy shit. Can you please die already? Oh. Bro, there's no way you're still alive after all this. How much health did they give you in hard mode? I know my missiles are low. This motherfucker's still alive! Holy shit. Holy fucking Christ. It's not even the debuff. It's just so tanky in hard mode. Holy. I wasn't expecting that boss to take that long. I was like, it's easy. He just breathes a few times, I hit him with a couple missiles, he fucking blows up. Easy peasy. Nope. Fucker's an actual tank. Fuck. Something interesting about Prime 1 as well is that the progression early on is kind of linear, but unless you do sequence breaks. But once you get a few upgrades, the world is fairly open. Why is my HUD still red? That lasted weirdly long. Here, I went the wrong way, didn't I? No, I didn't. Wave beam is over here, so we go to the right. I'm gonna save, I'm gonna do a couple more things, and then I'm gonna call it there. By a couple more, I probably mean just get to the next save point. These aren't exactly scattered throughout the entire world. Also, there's she-goths in this area now. Yay! My favorite. I don't know why I'm going this way. I could just jump up. Let's see. Let me through, you piece of shit. Get electrified, fuck you. Nope, not through there. Nope, not through there. Oh hey, I forgot about you. Another cool little attention to detail that, like, the devs have. Some enemies, it is plenty obvious what kills them quickly. So, I mean, like, maybe, like, the crystalline and shooting a concussive missile doesn't really make sense. But, anything in Phendrana Drifts that looks like it's remotely touched by ice, Plasma Beam, like, basically one-shots it. And even if you didn't have the scan visor, through trial and error, you'd also be able to find very quickly what kills stuff. Literally so long as you're willing to try shit that might not work. I promise you, there's always something that works. The only things that are immune to any damage whatsoever, the game straight up tells you. Most OP weapon. You kind of, actually. Plasma Beam's kind of fucking useless in anything inside Magmoor Caverns, and the boss that they intended to add to Magmoor would have made that very obvious. Because it was supposed to be a boss that I think you fight after you get the Plasma Beam. I can't remember exactly at this point. And I do like, Prime 2 has a better system with the weapons, where it's very distinct that some things are weak to one thing or are weak to another, and like their purpose is a little bit more fleshed out. Because unlike Prime 1, where the first gun you get is the Wave Beam, in Prime 2 you get the Dark Beam and the Light Beam fairly close to each other. And the reason why that matters is because the light beam is the fire weapon, and the dark beam is the ice weapon. So you have the two main elements. With the wave beam, yeah, you have electricity, but the plasma beam, which is the fire weapon, is really fucking OP in comparison to, like, the other two. Which I guess is just like a balancing thing. You get the plasma beam last. And they did find ways to skirt around that issue, which is basically make enemies that are just straight up immune to certain things. But yeah, I do think the weapon balancing was better in Prime 2. And then Prime 3, they just decided, fuck different weapons. We go back to the 2D formula, which is every weapon is an upgrade, not a different weapon. False. Okay, well, whatever. All one weapon, maybe, yep. I don't know. I think that one change definitely made the game feel less dynamic. It's not an issue in the 2D games, because it's always been that way for the 2D games, but for the Primes, it felt a little more linear because of it. How did I miss that? Okay, well, whatever. Let me up! Please! Thank you. God, I love that sound effect. Yes, I know, the water. Just skip the cutscene. I don't need to see it every single time. There should be a save back here. Alrighty, gents. I've made a lot of good progress in 2.5 hours. So I'm gonna call it here. I'm so fucking excited for Prime 4. I wish I could be playing it already. Alright. I've gotten quite a lot done, actually. Sheesh. I'm almost at Thardis already. Alright. Thank you guys for joining me today and listening to me just straight needs his Prime to go back to his bounty hunter roots. Yes, sir. Thank you guys for joining. I already have 42% of scans. That's insane. I've already said it 3 times. I'm glad you guys like listening to me yap. I will not be stopping my yap anytime soon. But yeah. Hope you're looking forward to more yap. So as per usual, matane minasan. Oyasumi.